know when I say I don't got so full and sleeping, baby. I thought I was not gonna be able to make this, but when I did the smoothie, thank y'all. Um, thank y'all. Welcome, welcome. When I did the smoothie, as you can see, I used the fresh spinach. It was the bag spinach, but I washed them off, made sure get the bad leaves out of there, and I did the fresh banana, and you seen I did the fresh mangoes and but it was the fresh mango, the frozen mango, and the frozen pineapples. The spinach, no, I don't put milk in my eyes because I've been having some stomach situations and I really can't. I don't really supposed to have like dairy. So, but the ones that I did, a lot of people ask me that about the yoga. I love yoga. I love that Danny and Fit and that Yoplait yoga. So many people ask me that, and when I say I love it, because the yoga, that's all I stayed on. I I still do bread, but not as much as I used to. But as you can see, I substitute my bread. The way that I substitute my bread with lettuce. Yeah, so you just have to catch those recipes when I do them. But those lima beans and those sweet potatoes. Ooh. Collard greens, baby, with them turkey drumsticks is so delicious. I know I'm almost sleepy right about now, but I ain't gonna even stay on here this long no way because I got a lot of stuff to do. So y'all already know because y'all already heard. But thank you. Now I don't know nothing about these people that like the rappers and stuff like that. Now, if somebody had to mention like Snoop Dogg, NWA, Dr. Dre, Tupac, MC Light, Queen Latifah, yeah, I would have known who you was talking about. Eric B. Rakim and Too Short. Yeah, I would have known it. But like some of them, I don't know. Some of the stuff that you people be saying, I don't be knowing them. Like, it was one lady that was telling me about, she was interviewing somebody, and I was like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who you are talking about. And she was like, you don't know? You don't know? I was like, no. See, a lot of stuff I don't know, but like Big Creek and Ace Hood, I learned that through my son. My Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, Lil Boosie, Webby, all of them, I learned them through my oldest nephew. I did not know nothing about none of those. I just, like, see, when I grew up, we listened to them kind of music, like, how they would say it, the come at home, the stay at home music, and all that. We didn't have all that. And see, that's another thing that I was saying, like, don't get me wrong, it's all right to eat out. It's all right to get. But when I was coming up, my mom and dad, and blood, let me tell y'all something for real. This is a true story, true story. My mom and dad did not allow us to throw no food away. Like I tell anybody and everybody, y'all don't heard me say it. At the end of the day, we had, this is no bragging, we had everything that a rich man had and everything that a poor person wanted. But at the end of the day, they also taught us the power of prayer. They also taught us Jesus Christ. They also let us know how to be prepared for better days ahead. I didn't know what it meant, but after they sat down and explained it to us over and over, they also told us and explained to us that it was going to be days that they weren't going to be able to give us. And we're going to be able to, not saying, but it wasn't about the buying. Long as they gave us that unconditional love, that was fine with me. Not saying that I'm like a attention seeker or nothing like that, but they didn't. All of us got the same mom and daddy. They didn't treat us no different than if we got jealous of one another. That's because we wanted to get jealous of one another. If we thought one was getting more than the other, that's because we wanted to think like that. And like I tell anybody, the trouble, if we got in trouble, that's something that we wanted to do. It's not, sometimes you can get in trouble unintentionally, and sometimes you can not care about getting in trouble, and sometimes you can just like feel not getting that love. Not saying that you're not getting the love at home, but sometimes you can just feel like when you get with somebody, you can just feel like, oh, well, this person ain't doing this right, this person ain't doing this right, and such and such, and so therefore on, and then you'll feel like, okay, well, you want to be loved more, you want to be loved. This sometimes you can be watching stuff on TV, baby, but I never will forget it, baby. Me and my baby brother, we sit up and we laugh about this right now. We was sitting at the table one day, and my mama had fixed some butter beans, and she fixed some, we was young. I'm talking about we was young. She fixed some butter beans, and she fixed some hamburger meat. I can't remember what kind of hamburger meat it was, but I was the main one that was talking about I wasn't gonna eat it. So I went and I went and I sat there at the table. I sat at the table. Boy, when I tell y'all, I lied to my mama like I had ate that food. That's why I said, now, I don't know what is going on with this generation now. So when I lied to my mama about that I had ate that food, mama made me get up because I had went and I set the food outside on the freezer. Forgot to try to throw it away and everything. So she was like, you sure you ate that food? You sure you ate it? I'm sitting up there lying. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm talking about I'm lying, and my baby brother sitting up there looking over there at me. He's sitting there. He would never tell on me. He's sitting up there looking. And it was just too funny to him, though. My mom went out there. I didn't hide the food good enough. She went out there and she found the food. She came back. I had got in my bed. And I had made it off to sleep for real. She woke me up. She told me, you lied to me. She said, you lied to me. And I'm sitting up there in my bed like, no, ma'am. She said, get your behind up right now. She sat me at that table. She said, no, I mean, you better eat all of it. She said, and you better not spit it out or throw it away. See, that's what I'm saying about the days. That's the kind of stuff that we miss. So I'm like, yes, ma'am. That was the food that she cooked. I didn't want it or I didn't like it as a child. And then I know, like the dark kind of drinks, I didn't like it as a child coming up. And then it was something that my daddy had got in there and cooked. I want to say he had got it because, rice. I didn't like rice for real, but now I love rice. I didn't like it. So my daddy had that morning, he got up and he cooked it was that evening. He cooked us some rice and steak with I forgot what it was though, cause that was like when I was young. But anyway, I remember the rice and the steak. But I know I didn't like the meat, and I know I didn't like the rice. And I know I didn't want to eat the rice, and I know I didn't want to eat the steak. Yes, when I was young, I know I didn't want to eat the steak. Because when I looked at it, it was just me. I more so wanted, like, give me a bag of potato chips or candy, like them, what is it, Boston candy, them lemon head candy. So that's more so what I wanted. And the dark drink that we had was, I think it was like a Dr. Pepper. When my daddy got up to go to the refrigerator, he seen that me and my brother was sitting there kiki ha ha laughing. And so my daddy he had popped me, and he told me to eat all my food. And he had popped me till the rice went on top of the steak, and then till my drink had spilled, and my brother thought it was funny. My baby brother, he thought it was funny. My oldest sister and my oldest brother, they had already ate their food and everything. They had gone. And I was just like, I couldn't get over my baby brother laughing at me because and you know and the strangest thing is not this is and then you know what, and I miss these, like I said, I miss these days like this. I actually got a whooping that night for not. I got two whoopings that night for not eating. I got one whooping by my mama, and I got another whooping later on by my dad because I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to eat what they had cooked. I didn't. So my uncle that came down, there he go. I'm like, what is this? What is this? Everybody want to come down and just try to tell me what to eat. I didn't want to eat that food, but I said, but then that's why I said just be careful sometimes because it's not it. It's not as bad as we think. It's not as bad as we think it is because I thought the same thing when my dad had told me because I used to holler I ain't finna eat no kind of wild meat, no deer meat, no raccoon, no nothing. I ain't want no kind of wild meat. Cause my uncle, he was known to catch wild meats and stuff. My dad got out there and barbecue that meat. That's why I was telling y'all, be careful because when he got out there, that deer meat tastes just like stew. And I was sitting there eating this, sitting there eating that meat. And he was like, what did you say you weren't going to eat? And so when he told me what it was, he said, I've been Man, I almost spit that meat out. And um yeah, I know, and that's why I said be careful what we say and how we say it. And then that, like, see, we already knew. I didn't never disrespect my oldest sister. My oldest sister, she's older than I am, but I didn't never disrespect her. I wouldn't talk back to her or cuss around her or do nothing. I wouldn't do nothing around her. I we yeah, we close, but I also knew what I can and couldn't do around her as far as like cussing. And if I said something back to her, I already knew how she was. And so I was just like, okay, I ain't finna say nothing back around her because I know I run to my oldest brother about her. Cause every time she thought she's supposed to whoop me for doing something that I didn't supposed to be doing. I'm trying to take my blood pressure medicine. Trying to get my blood pressure medicine. I don't even know why they got it so high. I don't know why. But they gonna have me in the bathroom though. I do know that. That blood pressure, that's like a water pill. It's gonna have me in the bathroom. When I tell you it's gonna have me in the bathroom, baby, it's gonna. But now this one thing that we learned that I be seeing so much when people be being their kids friends and stuff. I got a friend right now. She got 5 kids and 3 sets of Miss twins, and one set is fraternal twins, and the other one is the identical twins. And then she got one that's individual by herself. She old fashioned. When I tell you she old fashioned, she tear that behind up when them kids do something wrong. We already know when we step into another room, and if our parents sitting there talking, we know how to say, excuse me, excuse me. We know how to say that. Then we also know how to say, excuse me, and ask our parents a question. But then we also know how to say when we see them, hello, how you doing? Excuse me, mama or dad, I got a question to ask you. Mama or dad, can we such and such? Well, we don't do all of that. Be this and be that and all that. We don't do that. You know, a lot of folks be saying that they, because I listened to it. I had one female to tell me one day. She told me she heard my dude when my dude called me his queen. She told me that a queen mean. She said that she told me something about a queen is a disrespectful name. I said, no, what you calling yourself is a disrespectful name. I said, you calling yourself the B word, that's a disrespectful name. I said, because back when and again, I said, back when I was coming up, when a male, if you dating a male, and that male called you the B word or called you a heifer, baby, them were fighting words and them were breaking up words. And there was no more conversation. Them was, I don't want to hear nothing that you got to say, and I don't want to hear no apology, because we would be like, oh, well, my mom and daddy didn't have no B. My mama, I wasn't no B when I was with you, and I wasn't no help for, and that's the attitude. And then the vice versa goes for the men's. When the women would get mad with the men, we had a habit of calling them the BASTA. I don't know if you can say all of this on YouTube, but not. We had a habit of calling them the best. I'm gonna just say it like that. So we had a habit of doing that, and we had a habit of saying it. And so back then the men's would be like, okay, well, you can't be talking about my father. You can't be talking about my father. I can't help because my father wasn't there, blah, blah. But it was still like at the point where we was breaking up and we weren't talking to each other. So that was the main, that was the main thing right there for us. I'm saying, but like I tell anybody and everybody, you can't be no friend to your child. You first got to be a mother and woman. You got to be a praying, powerful, strong woman. You got to pray with your child. You got to let your child know to keep God first and to always be there for your child. If the dad is in the life, if the dad is not in the life, but you don't want to be out there smoking with them, you don't want to be out there drinking with them just because they know your friends and, they introduce them. Because sometimes it can lead to some stuff that you don't want it to lead to. And y'all, part 2 will be continued because I got to go because I'm getting sleepy now.